Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Cassie and this is my October wrap-up. I finished 5 books this month and I started a 6th. And I finished the 6th, but it wasn't in October, it was in November, but since I started it in October, I'm going to put it on this wrap-up. I had 4 books that I needed to read: Ashes of the Sun, Ruination, the Essex Serpent, and a mood read. I read 2. I read the Essex Serpent and I read a mood read. Technically I read like 5 mood reads. I tried to read Ashes of the Sun, but I got like 4 chapters in and I wasn't in the mood for it, so I put it down and I started something else. So let's start with The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry. So this is a historical drama. I've never read a historical drama before, so this was definitely new and it was not what I expected it to be. I was expecting more romance because of the TV show, so that was a little misleading. And I was expecting more mystery because of the Essex Serpent, but it didn't really build up to me the mystery of the Essex Serpent. Just like there wasn't really all that much romance, so historical dramas I don't think are for me, but I did finish it. It was decent. It wasn't bad. It's just not for me. So I gave it a 3-star. Next I read Cackle by Rachel Harrison. And this, it's kind of, they say that it's a fantasy, but there's really not a lot of fantasy in this to me. It was more of a romance with just like a dash of fantasy, like a dash of fantasy. It's essentially about this woman who is going through divorce and she meets, she has to move to another town and with a new job, and she meets a woman there that's kind of mysterious. And it's kind of about her relationship with this woman and finding herself as a single person again. Not really for me. If I think about it, I'm gonna look in my handy dandy TBR book, but I think I gave this one 3 stars too, because it's not bad. There's nothing wrong with it inherently. It just wasn't my cup of tea. Next we have The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. I liked the X-Hex. I think I gave the X-Hex 4 or 5 stars when I read it. So I was actually kind of excited about The Kiss Curse. But it kind of let me down. I don't think that it was as good as the X-Hex. I keep just wanting to say hex. The X-Hex. I think if there was a little bit more mystery in it or something, it would have been a little bit better. I found the main characters kind of annoying when they kind of clashed with each other. Whereas in the X-Hex, I was like, I didn't mind it as much, but in this one I did. I don't know why. And then there was what they call baby witches in the book. They kind of pop in and out. And they're just kids from the college that's in this town. I wasn't a great fan of them either. So I just gave this another 3-star because it wasn't bad. It just wasn't something that I liked a lot. I enjoyed it, I just didn't enjoy it. So I gave it a 3. Next is my greatest disappointment, I think, of this month. And that is Leech by Huron Ennis. I don't know how to pronounce his last name or her last name. Their last name. I was very interested in reading this book because it sounded like some kind of a Parasite horror type situation, because I think I found this in the horror section, so it's supposed to be horror, but I didn't really feel like when I was reading it that it was a horror. It was a lot of medical descriptions, but to me that's not horror. When I think of horror, I think of like murder, gore type situation. I don't know, not medical situations. There wasn't a lot of world building in this. They vaguely mention the outside, but they don't really mention anything outside of the town. And even in the town, they kind of give you some history, but I don't think that it was enough history. It kind of seems like it's a dystopian as well as a horror, from what I read of it. But there was definitely not enough world building for me. There was definitely not enough history for me. There was no horror elements to me. The premise of it is interesting. A doctor comes into this town because of a missing body, and the interesting part is the missing body and why it's a missing body. It's not just a missing body, it's a missing body. If you read it, you understand what I'm talking about, or if you have read it, you probably understand what I'm talking about. But it's definitely got a parasite in it. So that's interesting in how it does what it does. But overall, I was disappointed. Very disappointed. I don't think I've ever given such a low rating for a book in years, and I gave this one a 2-star. Because it was interesting enough, but I did not enjoy it, like, at all. There no horror, it was just not a good book to me. Maybe other people enjoy it, and that is completely awesome if you do. Maybe I'm just too desensitized to realize what horror is anymore. So yeah. The next book that I read was Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. So I've got a couple of kind of mystery horror books on this TBR this month. So this is about a haunted house and a murder, all wrapped up in a nice little bow. The woman in this book used to live in this house when she was a child, but they left after like only 2 weeks of being in the house. And as an adult, she renovates houses as a job. and she ends up inheriting this old house that she used to live in, and she's decided she's going to renovate it and sell it. But while she's there, the whole mystery starts unfolding about this haunted house and all of that. The way it was written was really good. Her father wrote a book about their experience here and claimed it as a real life story. And so one chapter will be a snippet from that book, and then the next chapter will be her in the present day and what's going on. And the next chapter will be a snippet of the book, and then it'll go back to her POV. I liked how that worked out. It worked out really well. It was very well written. I really enjoyed it. I did not see the twist coming. So that was nice. And I liked the twist. There was only one thing that was kind of disappointing, but I can't mention it without spoilers. So I'm not going to. Just know that there was something slightly disappointing. But overall, I really enjoyed reading this book. I read it pretty fast, and I gave it 4 stars. And then the last book that I started in October and I finished in November was Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. It took me a while to read this book. I started it like a week before October had ended. And I'm one of those people that once I start a book, I have to finish a book. I've not been able to DNF a book because my brain gets stuck on the book and what's going to happen and the ending. I want to know how it ends. And I cannot DNF a book even if I don't like it, or if it's like this where I get stuck. So I got stuck. And I didn't finish this book until yesterday. And today is November the 5th. So it took me almost 2 weeks to get through this book, which is not normal for me. Usually I can get through a book in a day. So this is not normal. It is a mystery, and it is about a married couple, and the woman in this relationship wins a raffle to some place in Scotland for a weekend, and so they go there, and she wants to try to fix their marriage, and she's hoping that this is a step that will lead to their marriage being fixed. But once they get there, some weird things start happening, and it's a very isolated setting, and you get to know a lot about their different perspectives because they change perspectives, and there's letters written in it, and you think that it's from one person, but it turns out to be from another person, which was interesting. Not bad, just interesting. And I didn't see the ending in this one either. So if I had read it straight through, I think I probably would have given it a better rating than what I'm actually going to give it, because it kind of put me in a slump. So I'm actually going to give it a 3-star because I did inherently enjoy it. I just didn't love it, and it took so long for me to read it. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna read anything by her again. She had cliffhangers at the end of every chapter, but to me they were cheap. I don't know if that makes sense. They weren't involved enough for me to be like, oh, I need to know what happens and turn to the next page. I literally kept putting the book down. So I gave it 3 stars. So that is my October wrap up. I know this is a little long, sorry. What books did you read in October? Did you like them, not like them? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, hit like. And if you want to see more by me, hit subscribe. Bye!